everybody. This is Dr. Paulette, and I'm coming back to you once again to continue the conversation for Minority Mental Health Month, which is this month, the month of July. And during this month, I've posted several videos talking about awareness, understanding, planning, and then action. And so, with that, just to recap, because now we're at the end of the month, we've talked about stigma and the importance of addressing stigma, what stigma looks like, why minorities don't always seek mental health services. Sometimes it's because they don't realize that there's a mental illness presence. Other times it's because of lack of access, cultural reasons, due to lack of access, all of those things that take place that may prevent someone from seeking the services that they need. I've also talked about some of the key reasons as to why you should seek help, how it impacts your past can impact your future if you're not letting go of the past. I've talked about that segment was, are we running around rent free in your head? I've talked about forgiveness and the importance of forgiveness and making the distinction between forgiveness and what that means and what it looks like and how to begin that process. So to begin to wrap this up, we talk about planning and action. What's your plan? How do you plan to move forward now that you're aware, now that you have a better understanding of what mental health illness is, how it impacts your life in a negative way when those issues aren't addressed? And now that you understand that or have a better awareness that we need to continue talking about this to normalize the conversation, what's your plan? So in that, you need to begin your planning. All of those key ingredients need to be in place. And then once you have that in place, you can then develop a strategy to put in action. So when you talk about planning, what are your issues? What are the things that you need to address? What's holding you back? What's preventing you from addressing the past or letting go of the past? What's continuing to cause mental anguish and mental pain, which then impacts you mentally, physically, and spiritually? Who or what continues to run around rent free in your head? Who are you not forgiving? How do you start that process? By identifying all of those things, then helps you to develop a plan on where you want to go. And the biggest question to ask yourself is, what do you want to accomplish in terms of addressing your mental health needs? What is it that you want to accomplish? Are you looking to alleviate the pain? Are you looking to forgive individuals? Or do you need to do all of those things that we've talked about in order to have peace of mind and move to a place where you're living a fulfilled life, mind, body, and spirit? And then once you come up with, or you develop or identify, however you want to put it, you identify those things that you want to change in your life. How do you begin to change those things? Is it a matter of you talking to friends and family? Do you need to seek out services? In one of my videos, I talked about how to find a clinician, how to find a therapist that can help you and not just be culturally competent, but I also mentioned and stressed the importance of you interviewing your therapist. So that should also be part of your planning when you start to seek, if you decide that you're going to seek services. When you seek services, what are those questions that you need to ask? And I provided some of those questions in the earlier series, and then you tailor those questions to what your needs are. How do you begin to advocate for yourself or a loved one that may be needing services? And then once you determine that you're seeking services and you find a therapist, you and your therapist can sit down together and devise a plan on how to move forward in letting go of the past. And so all of that, if you bring all of that together, you're now into the action phase. And the action phase not only includes determining what you need and finding someone to help you work through whatever those challenges are, but also the action also includes being consistent. It's not enough to go to a therapist one or two times, and please remember that you need to give it time. You didn't get to this point overnight of needing services or needing someone to help you overcome your challenges. You didn't get to this this point overnight, you're not going to fix it overnight. I think that's what I see when I see a lot of frustration with clients, because they think that, or they're under the impression that seeing a counselor or a therapist, they have this magic wand, or you can just take a pill, and the problems are resolved. No, it's not like it. That's not the case. You have to remember that this is a process, and for some, it's going to be a painful process to talk about those things that have happened to you that you've been trying to keep suppressed, and it's going to be, sometimes it's going to be a painful walk to unpack some of the issues that you're dealing with, or should I say you haven't dealt with, which is why you're seeking services. And as you walk through that process with the person that you find to help you with whatever issues that you're dealing with, then know that you're in the action phase. And then based on your action, you will have outcomes. Part of your outcomes, and when you see someone, a professional, they should also have a maintenance plan for you. As you walk through, they should be helping you develop coping skills to deal with the pain of it all, helping you address and understand things from a different perspective, and how those issues, or the abuse, the betrayals, or whatever the case may be, have impacted you, and then how you can turn those things around and use them in a positive way, or eradicate the feelings and the emotions attached to whatever it is that ails you. And once you work through that process, your therapist, counselor, psychologist, whatever you want to call them, should then also have a maintenance plan for you. How are you going to maintain and continue the hard work that you've done to resolve whatever issues are in play? All of those things should be in place, and that is part of the action that takes place when you're moving forward to try to get to a better place in your life. So again, you first have to be aware of what the issues are, what's stopping you or preventing you from seeking services, who or what is stopping you from seeking services. Understanding the importance of not only seeking services, but what the issues are that you're dealing with. And then as you also understand what you're dealing with, that therapist can also help you gain a better understanding or more insight on the impact of. And then the planning also comes into play in terms of who you're seeking, how you seek out a therapist, how you find someone that's competent and that can help you with your particular challenges. And then the action is actually doing the work, which is probably in some cases the hardest part. But I promise, it's like if you have surgery. Let's say you go to the doctor and you're in the emergency room, and the doctor tells you that your appendix has burst, and you go to the emergency room because you're in this tremendous pain. And the doctor tells you your appendix is bursting, so you have to have surgery. Now, we all know that going under the knife will cause tremendous pain, and the healing process will also be painful. But the guarantee in that, once you go through the process of allowing the doctor to go in and remove the parts that no longer work for you and no longer work for your body, and then they close you up and you start the healing process. When you get to the other side of the healing process, there's no more pain. There may be a scar, and the scar may always be there, but for some reason, you don't necessarily remember the pain. You may remember that at one time it was painful, but you won't remember the pain. That's how therapy works. A therapist will help you identify what the challenges are, how those challenges are impacting you, help you develop a plan to address those challenges and overcome them. And then the maintenance parts comes in. And then once you get to that point, you'll remember the pain, or you'll remember that there was pain, and there may be scars from some of the behaviors that manifested as a result of you not dealing with your issues and challenges. There may be a scar from some of the things that were done to you or done to you. There may be a scar, but there won't be any more pain. And that's the goal that we're trying to accomplish. So Under, uh, um, Understanding, awareness first, understanding, planning, and action will move you to a place where you can let go of your past and begin to heal and live a more productive, fulfilling life, mind, body, and spirit. Take care, everybody.